What's going on, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome to another episode of Caffeinate. Today, for November the 20th of 2018. My name is Samuel Adams, and welcome to today's show. I hope that you are all doing very well, and for those that may be new to the program, this is a daily gaming news podcast where I bring you the hottest gaming news of the day and wrap it up in one tight, neat little package for you to stay up to date on everything that you need to know. And today, if you want to get a Steam link, then you better hop on them because they are going fast. And once they're gone, they are likely gone forever because Valve is no longer supporting the little piece of hardware that could. Now, on top of that, Black Ops 4 is absolutely killing it. Twitch has discontinued game purchases via Twitch directly. A voice actor claims that Mortal Kombat 11 is on the way. Rocket League is finally getting an Xbox One X enhanced support update coming in December. And Epic Games has a lot going on with Fortnite, including a brand new tournament on top of a potential wintry mix-up for the map overall. Ubisoft has reversed a decision to kind of tone down the, I suppose, adult nature of a lot of the decorations found in Rainbow Six Siege, and Amazon Japan has the ultimate amiibo bundle for Smash Ultimate if you did want to have that brought into the country, or perhaps if you might have a friend or even you live over there overseas. But again, for those that are brand new to the show, this is hosted live weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time right here on twitch.tv/SamuelAdamsLive, and I love doing the show. And for those that are listening later via a podcast service or perhaps on youtube.com/SamuelAdamsMedia, I appreciate you being here as well. But without further ado, I hope we will just go ahead and dive into it. First off, Valve has pulled the plug on the Steam Link hardware. Valve has discontinued its Steam Link hardware, the device which lets you stream PC games onto your TV. European stock of the gadget has already sold out, and Valve has said last night the US supply is almost gone too, and no more will be made. It's a little surprising to see the Steam Link hardware culled. The box was still receiving new features as recently as last month, when the ability was added to stream simultaneously to multiple devices and use Android phones as a touch screen input. That's pretty cool, almost, it's pretty neat. But Steam Link has never become a mainstream product despite Valve's best attempts to make it affordable via regular deep discounts, and in the past 6 months, Valve has begun focusing on Steam Link software to do the same job for iOS and Android devices. It's these options Valve will continue to work on without having the need to manufacture further Steam Link boxes. Quote, moving forward, Valve intends to continue supporting the existing Steam Link hardware as well as distribution of the software versions of Steam Link. Valve concluded, available for many leading smartphones, tablets, and televisions as well. Digital Foundry did test the Steam Link app for iOS and Android earlier this year, and at that point, it still needed a little more work to be as reliable as its hardware offering. But to return to the hardware offering, this thing is very, very cool. It's primarily geared towards those that might have a gaming rig like I potentially have here, but they might want to game in their living rooms, or perhaps maybe kids stay in the room where you have the PC. Terrible idea. Don't do that if you haven't already done that. But if you do have a PC that is in a room that can't be used 24/7, whenever you do want to game, because we all game 24/7, am I right? You could always plug in a Steam Link and play via your television. Also, whenever it comes down to it, a fantastic way to experience Steam games in the same kind of comfortable console setting that a lot of people do play their console games in. So this has been a fantastic piece of hardware that has been discounted heavily over the course of the past few years, and I will say that right now on Steam, it is $2.50. Literally, this $50 device is $2.50. On top of that, you also have to pay for shipping. Now, I had a friend that bought one, and his total came out to right around $10. So if you did want to dive in and pick up a really solid piece of technology, then you can go ahead and get this, and I would say it's definitely going to come in handy for those that do play away from their consoles, their hardware, whatever you want to call it. You do need to get this if you do want to play through it. So again, closing down, but potentially this could mean there's a future in Steam hardware. Maybe they could make a sequel to the Steam Link, so to speak, and bring in more of that Steam hardware in the future, but we'll see what the future does hold for the guys over there behind the scenes at Steam. Now, a comment in the chat from BlowPro says, I like the shirt/tie. You look very dapper. For those podcast listeners, this is a silver tie with a black shirt because I went online and I went on Amazon.com. Very proud of the ties. Got to really draw it in there. But I'm very proud of the ties, and I got 5 ties for $10. I have an orange one, I have a silver one, I have a red one, a green one, and I believe a light blue one. And they all look fantastic. I'm very proud of that. But $10, I mean, who can beat that? It's like $2 a tie. Nutty, man. Absolutely nutty. But moving on to the next story of the day, according to the NPD reports, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is the best-selling game of October, currently the best-selling game of the year. The NPD Group has released their data for the month of October 2018. The NPD Group tracks North American retail and digital sales, and the NPD Group has reported that Black Ops 4 is the best-selling game in North America for the month of October and is currently the best-selling game of 2018. Black Ops 4 tops the chart. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is the best-selling game of October, and of course it is the 8th highest in video game history since the NPD Group began tracking in 1995, and it is the best-selling game of the year, the second best-selling game across the past 12-month period, trailing only Call of Duty 4. And again, just nutty. Now, all of the platforms listed are, kind of brought together, but Black Ops 4 is in number 1, Red Dead Redemption 2 is in second place, Assassin's Creed Odyssey at number 3, NBA 2K19 at number 4, and Super Mario Party at number 5. Now down here dropping to number 8 is Marvel's Spider-Man and Grand Theft Auto 5, still in the top 20 at spot 16, and the rest of them are relatively expected, except for the fact that LEGO DC's Supervillains is above Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Oof, that hurts a lot. But again, the game came out on October the 12th, and I am one of the people that did contribute to this specific statistic because, man, is Black Ops 4 a fantastic game, and this is what happens when you make a quality Call of Duty experience. Now, for the past couple of years, oh god, there was a lot of static there. For the past couple of years, you have had this kind of instance where Black Ops 3 has been the main go-to Call of Duty for a lot of people, and Call of Duty overall, as a whole, has definitely seen better days, because with World War II, it was beginning to trend back towards that boots-on-the-ground gameplay, but it never did see widespread adoption. And so, whenever you're comparing this new game, what does it bring to the table? It marries the improvements that have been made over the course of the past few years with the classic kind of Call of Duty feel that we all did grow up on, or at least those that are experiencing nostalgia grew up on whenever we were beginning to play games, because Modern Warfare was one of the first-person shooters that I actually played, and I fell in love with that game, and I can confidently say that Black Ops 4 channels that classic Call of Duty, but again, as I said, brings it together with a lot of the features and a lot of the speed improvements that have been made over the course of the past few years. So when it comes down to it, I'm not the only one that did feel this way. Of course, clearly, with it being the best-selling game of the year right out of the gate, it's definitely saying something, and I would say this one is going to be one of the biggest sellers for the holiday season, because you do have a lot of sales going on Black Friday, which, speaking of which, I will be releasing a video tomorrow talking about the biggest deals that I saw at Target, Walmart, Best Buy, and GameStop, so keep your eyes peeled for that around 9 a.m., but I will say that when it comes to Black Ops 4, you better pick it up when you can, because I wouldn't be surprised if there might even be a shortage of this game this year. Again, I'm sure they have accounted for the fact that tons of people will be buying Call of Duty. It makes sense. They would pump up production because they know this one's going to be a hit. But again, we will see what happens with this one. So we will continue to update you on the sales numbers as they do come out. But right now, best-selling game of October and best-selling game of the year goes to Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Now, you're not going to be able to buy this one through Twitch. Not that you were going to begin with, clearly, because Twitch has discontinued game purchases, quite frankly, in my opinion, because people weren't using them. But let's see what this article does say from Streamer Square. Back in April of 2017, Twitch announced game purchasing that could be done through a streamer's channel. It supported the streamer as well, so it was a win-win. But as of November 27th of 2018, this program will be discontinued, as it did not bring the additional revenue that they had hoped for when the program was introduced. Twitch will continue to explore different avenues to help for a future program. So the first thing that goes through your mind is, what happens to my stuff? Do not worry, no one is losing access to their purchases. All items and games will still be accessible through the Twitch app, including all of your Prime rewards as well. Any crates that had not been opened yet will be automatically open, and items will continue to be available. And so this is not something that is shocking, if I'm being quite honest with you. Overall, this was a fantastic idea, because essentially the idea behind it, as this article did say, is that you were able to buy whatever game a streamer was playing. So let's say that you happen to stumble into an Enter the Gungeon stream, just seeing one of the games that is on my screen right there. Let's say that you stumbled in and you really liked the way that the game looked, and you wanted to go ahead and give that money to that, game, and you wanted to go ahead and buy it. A portion of that sale, I can't remember what the actual ratio was, but a portion of the sale would go to the streamer for kind of a finder's fee of sorts. sorts, where you do just go ahead and say, hey, I found the game through this dude/chick, and I'll go ahead and give them a cut of the funds. And so that's pretty much the idea behind this entire program. However, there is the Twitch app that is on desktop, where essentially it is the platform that you play everything on. So in the same way that you would play a game on Steam, you play a game on the Twitch app, and that's how all of these games were purchased. That's not a good idea when it comes down to it, because it works whenever you're getting a game for free. For instance, with Twitch Prime, you get not only a free sub that you can give to my channel every month, or any channel you choose, but you can also give it to mine. But you also get a whole bunch of free stuff, and over the course of the past year and a half or so, you have gotten a lot of free games, many of which are of a high quality. And so whenever you do open these games, you open them in the Twitch app, and since they are free games, that makes sense, because sometimes you have to jump through a couple of hoops to get them working on your specific, console/PC. And so with that, it's okay. But whenever you buy something, to not have it on Steam, where the majority of gamers on PC keep the majority of their games, it just simply does not make sense. And Twitch, quite frankly, is not the kind of resource where I mind installing another platform to play on, or another launcher, so to speak. With Ubisoft and Uplay, I don't really mind, because I kind of expect that at this point. But when it comes to Twitch, do I really need to do this overall? So again, something to be considered, a discussion to be had, but clearly it was not adopted very widely, because they are discontinuing support for game purchases. And again, kind of sucky, if I do say so myself. But moving on to the next story of the day, voice actor claims that Mortal Kombat 11 is on the way. A new Mortal Kombat project, possibly Mortal Kombat 11, is in the works, according to a pair of tweets by Spanish-language voice actor Jose Eduardo Garza Escudero. Nailed it. Legitimately. Not actually kidding this time like I normally do. Nailed it. Jose Eduardo Garza Escudero. First reported by Game Informer, Escudero says he had originally been tapped. I nailed the name, then I can't even read the sentence. Escudero says he had originally been tapped by localization company Pink Noise Studios to be the Spanish-language voice of Mortal Kombat characters Kung Lao and Reptile in a new game. Pink Noise, however, ultimately removed Escudero from the roles, and the actor took to Twitter to talk about it. Quote, well, I can finally confirm that the professionals of Pink Noise decided to remove my characters from Mortal Kombat 11, reads a Google translation of Escudero's tweet. How sad that a company that wanted a lot ends up making decisions that affect both you, the consumers. Goodbye, Kung Lao and Reptile. Just a day later, however, Escudero was back on Twitter downplaying this seeming revelation of Mortal Kombat 11. Still, he reasserted that a new Mortal Kombat project is in the works. He just doesn't know if it is Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat 10.5, Mortal Kombat XYZ, or whatever, according to his official note. Also, to Blowpro, thank you for those 100 biddies, my friend. I appreciate it. Hit it out of the park with that pronunciation. Nailed it. But what you have here is that Mortal Kombat 10 was released in 2015, and that was the last game to be released in the 26-year-old fighting game franchise. It was repackaged with all of its DLC in 2016 as Mortal Kombat XL, but NetherRealm Studios and Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment have yet to announce or even tease a potential Mortal Kombat 11. As noted by Game Informer, NetherRealm was seemingly falling into a cycle of releasing a new Mortal Kombat and Injustice game every 4 years after each respective franchise's previous entry. This cycle, however, has only applied to 2 games from each series, so it's hardly a given that the next Mortal Kombat will follow suit and be released in April of 2019. But in 2017, Mortal Kombat creator Ed Boon said he'd have to entertain the idea of a Mortal Kombat Street Fighter crossover, although that hasn't materialized. Boon also said at the time, Mortal Kombat's fatalities were inspired by Street Fighter. And so you have potential futures for Mortal Kombat, which is one of my favorite fighting series. Specifically going back to Mortal Kombat 10 or Mortal Kombat XL, whichever one you want to call it. The fatalities in that were amazing. The way the graphics have enhanced that specific franchise, it blows my mind every time. Now, the last Mortal Kombat that I actually played was the one on the PlayStation Vita, which is very, very fun, high-quality game, if I do say so myself. But overall, is it going to be the kind of game that I want to see a sequel for? Absolutely. I cannot wait to see what the future of Mortal Kombat looks like. And overall, when it comes down to it, really do have an interest in where this is going and potentially what this little leak could lead to in the future. So again, as always, I will keep you guys up to date as to when the next Mortal Kombat will come out. But right now, definitely going to go ahead and put in my wager that it will be a next generation launch title. If not a launch title, maybe a couple of months into the franchise, or at least into the console cycle, excuse me. But Again, I'll let you guys know as more details do come, and I would say that the next time we might be hearing about this is at E3 of 2019. But again, I doubt that one highly. However, Rocket League, a game that is worlds different from Mortal Kombat, has finally is finally getting an Xbox One X enhanced support update coming in December, and plus there are going to be various additions on all platforms. Developer Psyonix has announced that Rocket League will finally receive its long-promised Xbox One X enhanced support on December the 3rd. The enhancements were initially announced for Rocket League in 2017, but due to technical challenges were pushed back into 2018. With enhanced support now mere weeks away, though, the game director Scott Rudy has confirmed that Xbox One X players will soon be able to experience Rocket League at native 4K at 60 frames per second and with super sampling enabled when playing on a 1920 by 1080 display. Additionally, on supported 4K televisions, Rocket League will offer HDR with options to adjust paperwhite and contrast settings, as well as side-by-side visualizer. Psyonix Xbox One X enhancements will arrive as part of Rocket League's imaginatively titled December update, which is scheduled to launch for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC on December the 3rd at 6 p.m. UK time / 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 1 p.m. my time over here on the East Coast. The update also promises to bring a number of new features and enhancements for all platforms, including leaderboards for Rocket League's ranked extra modes, adjustments to the game's recently overhauled XP and progression system, new community flags, and various quality of life improvements. Plus, it introduces a fresh selection of music in the form of Rocket League Cross Minecraft Volume 5 EP. Sorry, thinking about Netflix right now. But Psyonix also confirmed that Rocket Pass 2 and a Christmas-themed event, Frosty Fest 2018, are both scheduled to arrive before the year is through. However, as previously announced, Rocket League's highly anticipated cross-play party system now won't arrive until 2019. However, crossplay coming in 2019 confirmed, feels good right there. But for those that are looking forward to playing on the Xbox One X, this is a fantastic new update. Again, native 4K and 60 frames per second is what the next generation is hopefully going to be shooting for when it comes to every game. But for this generation, it's fantastic to see that it is coming to one of the most popular games of this generation. And so for those that are fans of Rocket League, you are going to be able to play it at a much higher quality, whether you are on a 4K display / television or a 1920 by 1080. It's all getting a pretty good update. And of course, for those that are on the other platforms, big updates coming for you as well. And that's always great to see. But I'll keep you guys up to date on how that is received, if there are any issues, anything along those lines. But I would say nothing along those lines will happen, because at this point, the guys over at Psyonix are pros at Rocket League overall. But other guys that are pros at updates, Epic Games announces $1 million Fortnite Winter Royale online tournament. Epic Games is hosting a Winter Royale online tournament for Fortnite players with a $1 million prize pool. The tournament announcement comes following a series of changes Epic Games made to its in-game tournament matchmaking, as well as other system improvements meant to tweak and fine-tune the player experience. The same system will be used in 2019 to determine Fortnite World Cup participants. Later this November, Epic Games will be holding a special test event meant to emulate the World Cup qualification process to prepare for next year, which includes solo test events, the Winter Royale qualifiers, and Winter Royale finals, both of which contribute to the $1 million pool players can take home prizes from. I want to take a moment. Guys over at Variety, writer Brittany Vincent, listen, it's great that it's a Fortnite article, and I understand that it's going to get a lot of clicks, regardless of how you label anything or spell words. But right here you have the Winter Royale qualifiers and the what is this word, Royale finals, and then both of which, apparently we're Irish now. I digress. Any Fortnite player is welcome to try to qualify for the events with several chances on offer for fans. What? With several chances on offer for fans to get the highest score, okay, they can achieve during any event session. I apologize, I'm not going to call you out on that one. That one sort of works. This will be the one that counts against the tournament qualifier status. The top performers in each region in North America and Europe will then be verified from this data, and eligible players will go on to battle it out in their region's Winter Royale finals. The Winter Royale qualifier will take place November the 24th and run through November the 25th, and the North American Winter Royale finals will occur from December 11th to the 12th, and the Europe Winter Royale finals will happen November 30th through the December 1st. While the events are currently restricted only to North American and European players, Epic Games says it will be holding over region-specific tournaments elsewhere in the near future. And so, for those that are really good at Fortnite, dive into it. You could win a portion of a $1 million prize pool. And I will take this moment to say that when it comes to creating a cool tournament experience, one that brings people back time and time again, I really do believe that when it comes to Fortnite, they do it so well that you can't help but be impressed by the fact that they are able to continue these kind of tournaments and continue pumping more money and funding into all of these new adventures that they go on. Really good to see. Hopefully we'll see more of this, and I would say, why would we see any kind of stopping anytime soon? It's going to be fantastic, and I cannot wait to watch some of these games streamed, because as much as I hate to admit it, okay, I'm gonna have a real come to Gabe meeting with you guys right now. I like watching competitive Fortnite. I do. I'm going to come to terms with that fact. I love watching competitive Fortnite because it makes me feel inferior in so many different ways, because the building is insane, the gunplay is insane, the accuracy is insane. People know how to play this game like it's a science and you're being tested on it. And so even though I don't play Fortnite anymore, even though I don't really get into it, I still like to watch a good round of competitive Fortnite because it blows my mind how good people are at this game. So, good to hear that more of that content is coming down the pipe, but as for right now, you'll just have to wait until a couple of days later, whenever the Winter Royale finals do begin to kick off, or at least the qualifiers, if you did want to try to get into the finals, and I believe that you could. Yes, you, listener/viewer, you have the potential to make a world a different place. Not necessarily better, just different. But speaking of Fortnite, players have spotted more clues that point to a white Christmas in-game. More clues have been spotted that suggest a winter is coming to Fortnite. Fortnite players have spotted what appears to be a great big cloud on the horizon and are convinced that it's getting closer and bringing winter with it. A snowy makeover for the map was first suspected last week with the arrival of AIM, a bot with a suspicious lack of lore and a dusting of frost on its hands and feet. The game's physical retail release, just in time for the holidays, is another hint in itself. The aptly named Deep Freeze bundle includes a frostbite skin, freezing point back bling, wow, chill axe pickaxe, and a cold front glider. And as you can see from the promo art, it looks decidedly wintry. You can take a look at the upcoming potential snow cloud in the gallery as well. And again, there it is over there on the horizon. It's a cloud. I have nothing else to say. It's just a cloud, you know? It's just there. But a good-looking cloud at that. Eurogamer also reports that over on the subreddit, more Fortnite fans, almost said Fartnite, cool, why not? Fans have made a connection between AIM and the blizzard heading for the map based on a loading screen image showing a bot looking at a map. Apparently, the diamond marker on this map lines up with the current position of the mysterious cloud. Some of the links could be called tenuous, to say the least, but Epic has been pulling out all of the stops this year, and it would be a surprise if it didn't sprinkle a bit of snow over the map at a minimum. So, we'll see what happens with the overall snowy map in Fortnite. But of course, they tend to do these kind of seasonal enhancements. We saw a lot of additions coming out throughout the course of 2018. And it's interesting to keep in mind that last year this time, Fortnite was a very different game, just beginning to rise to be the game that it is today. And so if it did not have any kind of, Christmas/winter kind of theme coming up over the course of the next few weeks, I would be very shocked, and I highly expect this is going to be the case. But if you did want to pick up the new Deep Freeze bundle, perhaps as a holiday gift for somebody, maybe even yourself, then you are going to be right at home whenever it does come time for the wintry mix to begin falling on the world of Fortnite. And it could be coming pretty dang soon. I would say probably in the next couple of updates. Because, hey, it's that time of the year. You might as well take advantage of it. But speaking of taking advantage of the opportunity, Ubisoft has canceled the Rainbow Six Siege aesthetic changes, after censorship backlash. The recently announced aesthetic changes coming to Rainbow Six Siege in Operation Wind Bastion have been canceled after player outcry accused Ubisoft of censorship. The changes that were announced earlier this month were meant to keep the upcoming Chinese version of the game consistent with the rest of the world. Skulls, violence, gambling, and sexual references were all said to be removed from the game, as they are elements that would have clashed with China's strict media regulations, and here is an example of that included within the article. You do have pretty much slot machines that have been taken out. Taking on the Rainbow Six Siege blog, Ubisoft cites remaining as true to the original artistic intent as possible as the primary reason for this U-turn. While it does also make oblique references to the level of anger felt in the community since the announcement, the blog doesn't mention how the PC Steam player count has fallen sharply since the announcement, which this month hit its lowest in over a year. The impact undoing these changes will have an Operation Wind Bastion. It's currently unclear. Reinstating the removed or changed elements will require more certification, bug testing, and optimization, which might delay future planned updates for Wind Bastion. It's also not confirmed whether this means the game will feature the content that seems problematic, although players in other Asian territories will now be receiving the same version of the game as the rest of the world. Some areas of both the Rainbow Six Siege and wider gaming community have compared the backlash to these changes to perceived censorship in other games, such as various Japanese visual novels scaling back sexual content. However, this comparison is misguided at best and disingenuous at worst, as the proposed changes would have radically changed not only the aesthetics, but also map readability and lines of sight for the sake of a market nobody knows will be successful for Siege. The most obvious example of this was in the Clubhouse map, as the removal of slot machines with nothing added in their place also removed a popular spot for hiding drones and gadgets, radically changing the meta of that map. And that's the main point that I want to make here, is that when it comes to the way that Rainbow Six Siege works, the map layout and the decoration plays directly into how people play this game. Callouts are a big deal in Rainbow Six Siege. On top of that, you also have the fact that, as the article said, a lot of people hide drones in the decorations around these maps, in neon lights, in new kinds of artistic aesthetic kind of set pieces that really do tie the room together, in the words of the Big Lebowski. So it's good to see that they are reversing these changes, and again, who knows how successful this game is going to be when it does launch in Asian territories, but as for right now, I am glad to see the changes are being made, because Rainbow Six Siege is the prime example, I would say, of the way that a game can evolve and completely do a U-turn, as they've done a U-turn here, because whenever Siege came out, it hit and then it kind of failed. It was just one of those games where it was almost like For Honor in a way, where people just didn't take to it. But as time went on and new updates began to roll out and more changes began to be made, more people began coming back to the game, to the point whenever it is now a fantastic example of how professional gaming streams can be had when it comes to tournaments, of the way that a professional game can be created that is engaging for everybody, players across the board. There is something for everybody that enjoys a first-person shooter within Rainbow Six Siege. I would highly recommend giving it a shot if you have not already. I know that at GameStop or Walmart, one of the two, for Black Friday, it's on sale for $17.99 with the new advanced bundle, something along those lines. You get a lot of bang for your buck when it comes down to it. But of course, if you have not tried it, I would highly recommend it. However, for right now, glad to see that the new changes are now the old changes that have since been reversed. But let's say you don't want to play any kind of Rainbow Six Siege. Maybe you're more into Super Smash Bros., which is coming in just a couple of days at the first part of December. Well, good news for those that want some amiibos. Amazon Japan has the ultimate bundle for you. 63 amiibos in a single purchase, as if you already didn't have enough limited space in your apartment. Black Friday and Cyber Monday are quickly approaching, and every retailer across the globe is prepping special deals. Amazon Japan is getting in on the action and releasing a limited supply bundle of all currently available Smash Bros. Amiibo, along with pre-orders for some of the upcoming ones. In total, you'll be getting 63 amiibo figures in a special Smash themed box with a wall scroll to kickstart your collection for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This set will be limited to 50 units and will be up for sale on December the 7th, 2018 at 6 p.m. JST. No price has been announced, but with amiibo typically going for $12.99 each, this could end up being over $600 USD, not even factoring in yen conversion and shipping cost. I'm not sure a box is enough to make that worth it. And so again, 63 amiibo in this specific bundle. You might go ahead and buy a bookshelf just to keep them all on. But for those that do want to get really into Super Smash Bros., this is the fantastic opportunity that you have been waiting for. Is it fantastic? No, but it is an opportunity, without a doubt. Without a doubt on that one. So if you did want to dive in and check out the world of amiibo, this is the best opportunity to do so in a very simple, easy to access way. But is it really worth over $600? Probably not. However, that wraps it up for today's episode of Caffeinate. I appreciate you guys checking out the show. For those hanging out live in the chat, I appreciate you. And to Blow Pro, I appreciate the 100 bits and also the continued support. And if you did want to check out the show live, again, for those that are listening to the podcast version later on or the YouTube video, then I'm very tired, but I am hosting it live on twitch.tv/SamuelAdamsLive every weeknight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here, if you did want to check it out. But I appreciate you guys being here. Have a fantastic rest of the night, and I'll be back tomorrow for another episode of Caffeinate. Peace.